Hi, Grandma here, and I'm going to be reading Dave at Night, but I wanted to show you something that I found on Wikipedia. Wikipedia has a different book cover than the one I'm reading from, and this book cover is basically the chapter we just finished. It shows Sally with the parrot, it shows Irma Lee and Dave, and it shows all of the people at the party. The other interesting thing about this Wikipedia page is, and it's under Dave at Night, is in addition to a plot summary, it has a list of characters so that if you forget who somebody is, you could consult the list. The other thing that it has is, and we'll get more into this, is Yiddish. We've already heard Sally use the word boy chick, landsman, and we've heard somebody say that he's a Ganef, and he's talked about his family who are alt-rightniks. And this is has some Yiddish definitions. So a Ganef is somebody who fools people out of their money. So that is also on this Wikipedia page. Yiddish definitions. There's also a section that compares this story to reality, which is her father, David Carasso, and he changed his name to Carson. It also tells the awards that she has and what countries this has been translated for. Meanwhile, I will begin reading the book Dave at Night, and we are on chapter 11. I said yes, even though I'd probably never see her again. That's Irma Lee. I wanted to be her friend. Good. She leaned back and crossed her ankles. She didn't say anything. She just smiled at me. Hold on, I forgot to turn my light on. Okay. I smiled back. We sat there for a minute or two smiling at each other. Where do you live? I could visit her when I left the asylum. On 134th Street. Tell for me your fortune, Parrot squawked. Oh, there you are, boy chick. Sally poked his head into the stairwell with the loveliest lady at the party. I wished he'd go away. I wanted to stay here with Irma Lee, but she smiled happily at him. My mama says for you to tell her hello. I did already. Come, Davila, we're not heiresses. It's time to work. I stood up. I couldn't let Irma Lee see I didn't know what he was talking about. Did he mean she was an heiress? Can I help, Mr. Gruber? She said, no, sweetheart, they all know you. You'd be bad for business. You can see Dave later. Irma Lee went back to the party. Sally knelt down to straighten my tie. You should close your eyes when I get started. Rocking back and forth is good if you feel like it. Make a big groan. Don't be shy. But if you laugh or do anything to spoil my business, that dollar will be out of your slipper before you can say Gesundheit. What's your business? We tell fortunes. He reached into his pocket, pulled out a deck of worn cards. With these. He stood up. Could he really predict the future? Did he think I could too? Was that why he grabbed me on the street? Real fortunes? Real schmeal. Do you think a deck of cards can tell the future? I shook my head. Smart boy chick. Let's get started. So that was what a Ganef was. Somebody who fools people out of their money. A crook, but not an evil crook. I was a Ganef too. I had taken the dollar. Wait, what time is it? You have another engagement? He pulled a watch out of his pocket. 5 after 1. You have time for a little business. I nodded. I had hours. It would only take a few minutes to walk back to the honking house of bells. It's another way of saying the Hebrew house for boys. But could I climb back in? I hadn't thought about that. There had to be a way. I'd worry about it later. Let's begin then. Went back into the apartment. Sally put his arm around my shoulder. Tell for you your fortune? He called. The parrot squawked. Tell for you your fortune? A quarter a card, Sally chanted. A quarter. Just for a card? For a quarter, I could buy a hot dog and a double scoop of ice cream cone, an orangeade, and a chocolate bar. A delicious meal. Sally was still chanting, $50 a year. For $1, your life. He wasn't loud enough. Everybody was yelling to each other. Mackie girl, the last time I saw you. What happened to James? A man tilted back his head, drank from a silver bottle. Honey, what's in your potato salad? I never. He fell over with that rot gut. Fell! Sally! A woman waved at us from across the room. Sally started toward her. A repeat customer, he told me. I'm so glad you're here. Everything turned out. Who's he? My grandson, Dave. Meet Mrs. Smith, the sweet lady. A grandmotherly white lady in a short red dress with sequins smiled at me. I said hello. Sally went on. Dave has the power. He's going to help me in my old age. Mrs. Smith said, you were right last week. I should always listen to Sally. That's what I tell everyone. How many cards tonight? Sally said. For my best customers, 2 for a quarter. Then I'll take 2. Make them count, Sally. Come on to my office. He led us to a food table where he moved the coleslaw to make room for his cards. Sally maneuvered so that I stood between him and Mrs. Smith. She took a purse out of her pocketbook and handed Sally a quarter. He tapped the deck 3 times. Then he noticed me watching, passed his hand down over my eyes. Close your eyes, boy chick. Better to feel the power, he told Mrs. Smith. He has great power, but he has a lot to learn. I kept my eyes open a slit. I couldn't miss this. Sally turned over a card, a 3 of clubs. The parrot squawked, Mazel, mazel tov. Is it lucky, Sally? Did the parrot say it was lucky? Well, that's what he said, but he's just a bird. What does he know? Could be lucky. The cards never lie, but sometimes they aren't what they seem. Play it. Take a chance. I will. Trouble comes in 3s, so why not luck? Are you feeling anything, boy chick? He kicked my shin lightly as if he turned over another card. I was supposed to rock back and forth, groan if I felt like it. I rocked, but I didn't feel like groaning. Did he want me to rock slow or fast? Forwards and backwards or side to side? I rocked slowly from side to side. Joker, Mrs. Smith said. Is that bad? Impossible to tell unless I see the next card. A joker followed by a queen is very bad. Mrs. Smith opened her pocketbook again. 2 more cards, Sally. What a racket. Every other card was probably a joker. But a joker followed by a king is good. Sally pocketed the quarter and turned over a card. The parrot squawked, in the cards, in the cards. The next card was an ace of hearts. I tried a low moan. Why did he moan? An ace, Sally said, is the most important card in the deck. That's why he moaned. You are the ace. You are the one. In this crisis, the ace must decide. I groaned. Mrs. Smith groaned and moaned. Give me a beautiful card. I need a beautiful card. It was a 9 of diamonds. This is good. Not perfect, but good. Your crisis will turn out well. Mrs. Smith stood on tiptoe to kiss Sally on the forehead. You set my mind at rest. The parrot shrieked, Gewalt! Gewalt! Sally nudged me with his foot. I groaned deeply, as if it's going to be all right. Why did he groan? Could be he has reservations. Could be I haven't seen all there is to see. He's only a child. How could he know? Let me tell you about this child. A week ago, I had such a pain in my side. Sally clutched his side. I could hardly breathe. This boy chick says to me, Grandpa, until you pay your debt, your side will hurt. So right then and there, I gave my cousin the $1 I owed him, and my side felt like it was 16 years old. That's the power of the boy chick. What a gonif. He was good. Mrs. Smith took another quarter out of her handkerchief. I want him to play the next card, not you, Sally. Sally knelt down next to me. Davila, Mrs. Smith wants you to turn over a card. Can you do it? I didn't know whether he wanted me to nod or not. I groaned. He can do it, Sally said. No, I have a better idea. I'll spread out the cards and he can pick the perfect one for you. But this one card costs $0.25. Oh, I'll take it. Sally spread the cards on the table. Dave, Mrs. Smith needs your help. Can you help her? I groaned like Mr. Doom was strangling me. The parrots squawked, Oi, vey, come on! Sally took my right hand, guided it till it was in the air over the cards. There, boy chick, pick the perfect card. I started to pick one. Then I stopped, my hand hanging in the air. What if there was a special card he wanted me to pick? What's he waiting for? He's waiting for the power to tell him the right card. When his hand starts to tremble, you'll know the power has come to him. I waited a few seconds, then made my hand tremble. I threw in a groan, but I still didn't know which card to pick. My hand made circles about the cards while I waited for the signal. Then I realized that whatever I picked, Sally would know what to say. I lowered my hand and almost touched a card. Mrs. Smith breathed in sharply, and Sally didn't do anything. I almost touched another card, and then I tapped one. This was fun. I don't know, it sounds to me like this is the perfect setup for somebody like Dave. What do you think? Okay, thanks. See you next time.